Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I've been gone for a while, 2 weeks to be exact, and you're wondering where I've been. Work. I've been doing work, really, and I didn't feel like making any videos so far. But yeah, I have to come back eventually, so I came back here now to give you another what if. Or not a new what if, but give you a what if continuation. This will be the continuation of what if Deku and Bakugou is the reincarnations of Hanzo engaging. I think I'm saying his name wrong, but I know I'm saying Hanzo, right? But I think I'm saying Gaijin's name wrong. Or maybe I'm not. Depending. Now, let's continue. Last time we left off, we basically went over the Sludge Villain incident and went over information on Hanzo's and Gaijin's back life, or like when they used to live, how they were when they used to live. Now, I'm just gonna state it this first time for any people that are new to the what if that I'm doing, and you just somehow found your way to this what if video and it's episode 2 and you didn't watch episode 1. That's just a small recap. And also the difference is Hanzo and Gaijin doesn't come from Overwatch, they came from the Naruto universe. That's the only difference, and they have a pretty much better relationship than they did in the Overwatch universe. So yeah, that's the only difference here. Well, it's been a while since I basically did a video, so I'm gonna be a bit rusty, but yeah, let's start. Now, let's take it off with Deku. Now, let's continue the time. Let's do time skip, yeah. Small time skip. I'm gonna tell you what happened during this time skip, which this will be the time skip of the training that Bakugou and Deku went through, as they are practicing some abilities and Bakugou is getting used to his explosion quirk. Well, he's technically improving his explosion quirk because he got used to it already. Now he's trying to improve it. As I would say, Bakugou would fire some very, very big explosions into the sky, trying to build up his durability to his own quirk. It does help, and also it does strengthen him a lot. Also, he's been practicing using his quirk and his bow and arrow, as you basically saw in the last video, as he's getting a bit more better with it. He can now shoot through solid, I guess, not solid clay, but solid concrete with his arrows, which is impressive. But the walls need to be thin. That's the only difference. He can't shoot through thick concrete now. Deku, well, he's been just practicing his dodging and trying to get more basically ninjutsu skills down, because if he ever gets basically up with a very powerful villain that has a very interesting ability, he's gonna need these abilities. And yes, these abilities make him and Bakugou stand out a bit. Bakugou is technically the superior one in basically all aspects, because his quirk is strengthening some of his other abilities and his arrow and bow ability that he has. Whether Deku does not have a quirk and he has to rely on his ability and ninjutsu alone. Now, the thing about the dragons, yes, Bakugou will have 2 dragons and they will be blue. I'm changing that in the story. They will be blue and Deku's will be green as in canon, but they will get, you'll see later what I mean by it. As I would say, their trainings basically went on without a hitch. They got a bit stronger, yes, and now let's skip to the UA exams, or the entrance exam. As yes, they also did study, because they're not stupid. They know it's not just going to be basically a fighting, just fighting. It's going to need to be practical. You need to study, as they did study. Izuku scoring slightly a bit higher in his basically the practical part, and Bakugo as well, slightly higher than he did in canon. Reasons being because Bakugo had a partner, Deku. Deku is quite smart. Bakugo also is quite smart, and they're also basically reincarnations of different people. So yeah, they scored slightly higher. Now the actual exam or the fighting portion of the exam. Now I'm gonna say that Bakugo and Deku separate they're in separate again. They're in separate arenas and they basically fighting robots separately. As let's go over Bakugo. What happens in Bakugo's area first? Bakugo's area, nothing much happened. Yes, the Ida kid is still there because Bakugo and Deku sat next to each other. But when they left to go to the where their exam will start, something different happened. Bakugo. Bakugo, obviously everything went as normal. Not much difference. Nothing changed in Bakugo's area. As I would say when the gates started opening, Bakugo ran straight. He just started running, as everyone was questioning, does he want to get eliminated or something? As I would state that um, one of the other teachers would remind the children that there is no countdown in battle. Is you either go or basically you either go or get left behind. As the children realize as they all start rushing. Bakugo being ahead. I don't think there is anyone faster than Bakugo right now because he's using ninjutsu or he's using chakra, and on top of that his explosions like to propel himself even faster. He learned that his explosions give quite a lot of momentum early on. As I would state, the battle commences between Bakugo and the robots. Bakugo obviously using his explosions to set off, like basically destroy a bunch of robots that are near him, and using his long range ability, which is his arrows, to attack robots that are behind or somewhat far away. As he would destroy robots left and right, as I would say the teachers would be impressed. And also think that Bakugo has two quirks. One being to manifest a weapon like a bow, or like an energy weapon like a bow, that also has the mix of the explosion quirk with it, which is quite impressive. So they think Bakugo has two quirks. As I would state, Bakugo would continue the strat continuously and at the same time saving a few people, getting him a few hero points and a few villain points. To be exact, he would get at least, I guess, 60 villain points, like 50 villain points and like 50 villain points and like 70 rescue points. Nope, nope, it would be 70 hero points and 50 rescue points, which would earn him 120 points in general. He's quite up there. I don't know if he's going to be the top, but he's technically near the third, second, and first. Somewhere there. Now, continuing on, the next Izuku's area. Izuku's area obviously goes off at the same. Now, if you're wondering why didn't Izuku fall when he was entering the exams, it's because number one, Izuku has chakra. He's technically a reincarnation of a ninja from I don't know how long, and he's pretty skilled and strong, and he's more aware of his surroundings and not nervous. So I don't think he would trip and fall. So no, he would not go to Uraraka to ask thanks for saving him, because she never saved him and he didn't need saving in the first place. And finally, Ida will not berate him for, I guess, trying to disturb a contestant of this, basically taking this exam, because you could distract a person, and that's Ida's thinking. I'm not gonna go over Ida's thinking. It's basically cat and Ida. That doesn't happen, as instead, Izuku Midoriya walks up in front, as he wants to stand in front, as Ida was watching him, but Ida didn't see him going to go talk to anybody, or having the intention or even the feeling of him gonna disturb someone. He just walked up in front. That's it. As when the gates start opening, he immediately bolted. He booked it. And he's quite fast. With chakra, it speeds up him a lot. To the point where, not that he rivals Ida, to the point where he's half Ida's speed. So, like, when Ida does reciprocal burst, then he's just half that speed. So he's quite fast. As Ida obviously outruns him. As Yeah, but he's at the moment in front. As President Mike yells, "What are you doing? There's no countdown in a real battle. Go, go, go!" As everyone just starts running. As Izuku made it out through the gates first, as he starts wailing on a few, I guess, robots, summoning his sword or his katana and slicing into a lot of them. Now here's the slight difference with Izuku's power. He can also summon phantom shurikens. Phantom shurikens being the things that Hanzo or the things that Gijin throws like for long range. Phantom shurikens, he can summon an infinite amount of them, just like Hanzo can summon an infinite amount of arrows. Same like Gijin. But they work but different. As when Izuku threw basically one robot, it basically went through the robot and went to the next. It destroyed the robot, bounced off to the next robot, destroys it, and bites off of that robot and destroys it. It basically also can go through objects, but it's not moving fast enough to go through objects at the moment. And also you can basically coat this with elemental chakra like lightning, wind, fire, and water to give it elemental basically affinities, but he's not going to do that. He doesn't want to waste chakra, otherwise it's going to take a while to get it back. I would say that the clan that they came from okay, so for amount of chakra, the Uzumakis obviously has a ridiculous amount of chakra, and their chakra like pool is ridiculously high. Second to that is their clan. I don't know what their clan is called, but it's the clan that Hanzo and Gijin came from, or the reincarnate, or like Deku and Bakugou come from. Ridiculously high, but the difference is they gain chakra faster than normal people. So that's the only difference. So it rivals them with the Uzumaki, but he doesn't want to waste it, and he doesn't feel like putting the effort evens in. He knows this is going to be fine if he does it. Now, if you're wondering about Bakugou and the zero pointer, I'm going to get to that, but not now. As I would state that this Izuku would keep on destroying robots, 3-pointers, 0-pointers, and even saving people, more than Bakugou did. Deku would get 80 rescue points, and 50 hero points, which would be the difference. Now, yes, while obviously the time is going down as the 0-pointers appear. And notice how I said 0-pointers, as in plural. There's not one but two. In Bakugou's side, a 0-pointer has also appeared. At the same time, Deku's 0-pointer appeared. As I would say that Bakugou basically would smirk, look Bakugou before he basically saw the 0-pointer. He destroyed one more 0-pointer, which got him up to I think 680, like 80 like villain points, 18 villain points and hero points 50. 80 villain points and hero points 50. Deku got 80 rescue points and 50 hero points. This equals them out at 130, as they both see the zero pointer and they both smirk. Bakugou thinking of a way to get up there and destroy this thing, as I would state that he would look for a high ground and quickly head to it. Izuku thinking of the same thing, running up the walls, so does Bakugou, as they both stand on a high point in their area, as I would state that they would yell out their following moves, as I would say that Bakugou would get this early because of Deku's influence and because he's a reincarnation of another person. He would get this he would get this much more earlier, as Bakugou would boost himself up all the way to the sky and start basically spinning. He would spinning yelling he would start spinning and yell corkscrew explosion, as he continues spinning with this, or I think it was howling impact. I'm gonna go with howling impact. This is the move. He would start spinning with all explosions going around and around and around, constantly spinning, while also at the same time gaining momentum while falling. He's in the sky, falling, spinning with his quirk, making a lot of explosions, and at the same time heading to the zero pointer, as he yells howling impact as he lets off a massive explosion. BAM! At the same time while this is basically happening, Izuku decides to let out one of his basically powerful jutsus and empower it with a bit of his dragon energy that he has. As I would state, he would jump high enough to equal Bakugou's like height in how high they jumped. But Deku was on a higher building than Bakugou, so that's the difference. As they are both equal basically height, as Izuku yells, he adds a bit of chakra to his blade that he's conjured, as the element he added was lightning, as this blade cackles with lightning as he puts it over, I guess he's no as he points it towards the zero pointer while falling towards the zero pointer, and activates a bit of his dragon energy as he yells Universal Slash as he swipes at the zero pointer just as he's about to hit it. Both of these attacks basically making, or no, Bakugou's attack rings out through the entire area, that it even affected Deku's area. At the same time, when Deku went right through the zero pointer stopped and everything just started shaking. Now, the reason why everything is shaking is because Bakugou's howling impact that blew the head of the zero pointer straight off, and it just made the entire area shake. Deku, on the other hand, cut the waist down, the zero pointer by its waist down, in half, as the zero pointer's basically top body slides off because of the shaking. As Izuku puts his blade basically in a sheath, I guess, an energy sheath, as another cut appears across, as this zero pointer like splits up into 4 pieces. As he states, it is done. I have won. As at the same time Bakugou has also landed, as they both look at the zero pointer that they have just destroyed as it just topples over, as they walk back to where they're supposed to be because they know it's over. The basically test is over and they all have to return back to back to basically their training area. But before Deku leaves, he sees somebody underneath basically rubble near the zero pointer, as she's calling for help, as he's like, Was she there the entire time? She could have gotten hurt. As Deku helps her. Hey, are you alright? Uh, yeah, and thanks for stopping that thing. As she looks up to the zero pointer. She knows it was him because she saw the person that was basically went through the zero pointer. As he's like, oh, don't mention it. It was nothing. As as I would say that she would try to stand up, but be in pain because her leg is sprained. As Deku would offer to carry her, as obviously he grabs her, I guess, bridal style, and carries her all the way to Recovery Girl. As Recovery Girl heals, basically Ochako, as he says, well, I guess I'll see you in UA then. As he walks, basically away. Awkward conversation, yes, but yeah, he walks away. He, I would say that yes, he's good at speaking to people, but like some of the people he's only spoke to either knew either knew his brother Bakugo or basically came up to him, not the other way around. He never basically came up to anyone else, so it was kind of awkward. Kind of. For him, at least. Ochako didn't understand it, but for him it was kind of awkward. As he would walk out, as you see Bakugo there, just waiting for Deku. As I would say that Bakugo said, so, what took you so long, nerd? As he's like, I don't know, maybe getting some extra points than you. As he'd be like, you wish, I'm probably a number one in the entrance exam. As Deku would smokily say, well, we'll see about that. As Bakugo gives basically a grin and says, yeah, we'll see who's better when the, I guess, reports come out. As Deku would grin as well, as Deku states, we'll see. I would say that they would walk home together while speaking and also making fun, and also, I guess, making fun of each other. As, yeah, they're just basically chummy at the moment. As, yes, Izuku gets home, Bakugo gets home, and they wait. As I would say they roundabout get the same letter at the same time. As All Might appears on both of their, I guess, hologram. As they state, young Midoriya, young Bakugo, you have shown great promise of being one fine and powerful heroes, and you might save a lot of people one day. As yeah, All Might trails off saying something, as I don't even want to go over what All Might states, as he states, young Izuku, you got 130 basically points. The 80 being from rescue points and the 50 being from villain points. Bakugo, you got 80 villain points and 50 rescue points, and you are tied as Bakugo, as I would say that All Might would say in unison, and you are tied with Izuku Midoriya for first place. As Bakugo is like, you gotta be kidding me, right? I thought I was gonna be first, but that damn nerd's lucky. As I would state, because he's... Actually, I'm gonna make a slide... No, yeah. Izuku Midori is first. Why? Because he saved Ochako. Bakugo is second. Why? Because Bakugo didn't save an extra person than Izuku. Izuku got 20 points for saving Ochako. So instead of getting 80 rescue points, he got 100 rescue points and 50 hero villain points. So Izuku is technically first. He didn't break any records, but he's first. Continuing on. As Bakugo is like, that damn nerd is lucky. if I would have saved one more person, or maybe even two, I would have been tied. Or maybe even if I would have destroyed a few more robots and saved three more people, instead of wasting my time with that zero pointer, I would have gotten first. Next time, I will not lose. As Bakugou states while basically getting slightly mad. But he's actually happy. Why? Because number one, his brother is not weak, and his brother is one heck of a rival. Continuing on, as I would state that they would go to school the first day. But before they go to school, Bakugou would meet up with Deku. As Bakugou would state, "You damn lucky bastard. You're lucky you saved that one girl, otherwise we would have been tied." As I would say, Izuku would scratch his head say, "Yeah, I was quite lucky to save her. If I was basically about to walk away until I heard somebody cry for help. So yeah, you can say it was fate for me to get first." As Baku was like, "Screw fate. Next time, next time, you damn nerd, I won't lose. Understand? You better be ready, because I'm coming for that number one spot, and you won't have it for long." As Izuku's like, "Bring it on. I'll show you how I'll kick your ass and do it even easier than I did in the entrance exam." As Baku is like, "We'll see, we'll see." As he continues walking with Deku while they continue speaking. Basically making fun of one another, and yeah, continuing on. As I would state that they would get to school, or they would get to UA. Bakugo and Deku looking for the same class, Class 1A. As they would look around for a while, coming across Class 1B, looking into Class 1B, seeing quite some interesting people. But they don't open the door, they just look through it. As they walk away and continue looking for Class 1A, as they find Class 1A. The door is big as Class 1B, as Bakugo and Deku say at the same time. Wonder what monsters they have in this class. As Bakugo opens the door and he just throws it open. Bam! As Bakugo walks in with his eyes basically closed, walking to his seat, as Deku does the same thing. But he doesn't, he comes in more of a, I guess, nicer way. As Deku goes to his seat immediately, puts his bag next to his basically table, and Bakugo is sitting behind him. So yeah, as Bakugo, yeah, puts his feet up, basically on the desk. As I would say, Ida comes, and now the scolding between Bakugo and Ida begins. As Deku is like, I had a feeling this would happen. As Bakugo says the same line, "So what? You school put a stick up your ass, or were you just born with it?" As Bakugo yells that out to Ida, as Ida's like, "How vulgar! Using such language in a classroom and in a school like this. Didn't your school teach you any manners?" As this bittering continues on until a brown brunette girl, basically a girl with brown hair, comes in class. As Deku recognizes her, as so does she, as she walks over to Deku and states, "I remember that hair, I remember that fuzzy green hair anywhere." As it's Ochako, obviously. As Ochako's like, "Thanks again for saving me." As Deku's like, "Don't mention it, just doing what a hero does." As yes, they continue talking until Deku and Bakugo sense something. A weird, I guess, slight aura by the door. As I would say that Deku would tell Ida and Bakugo that they need to get to your seats now. It seems to be the teachers here. As Uraka's like, "Really?" As she looks behind her, and Ida also looks. As the door goes sliding open. As somebody in a basically bag falls down on the floor, sleeping bag falls down on the floor, as everyone looks in silence at this person. As Ozawa says, you two are observant. You two are very observant. I'm impressed you noticed me before I even got to the door. And also, if you want to make friends, then you can just leave my class now. This place is meant for heroes, not to make friends. You're here to train. Now, get changed into this clothes and meet me outside. Immediately. As basically, I would say that Ochako would ask a question, stating that don't they, or Mina would ask the question, don't they need to go to the entrance or welcome ceremony first? As Azawa states, this is no normal school. This is a school meant for heroes, to train people to fight villains. And also, because this is not a normal school, I teach my class the way I want to teach my class. And if you have a problem with it, you can just leave. As Azawa basically puts down the clothes on the table and walks out of the class, basically stating, I'll be waiting for all of you. If you're late in any way, I'm gonna have you expelled. Understand? I don't take tardiness. As the door closed behind him. As I would say, Bakugou Izuku, without saying anything, stands up, grabs the clothes, and walks to the changing room. They don't say anything to any classmate or anyone else, they just do as they were ordered. Because number one, they are Konoha ninjas, and they've been trained not to ask questions and just do what you've been ordered. Simple. So doing this simple task that a person has asked them to, with no question, they'll do it with no question. Because number one, it's an order. And the way that Azawa's tone was, it's pretty much an order for them. As they change immediately, as everyone's in the changing room as well. As I would say, that purple weird pervert grey person would still be looking through that hole. As I would say that this would remind them of a certain pervert, Bakugou and Deku especially. As they would look at this grey pervert, as this grey pervert would suddenly morph with white hair and weird markings down his eyes. An old man, an old man or an old sanin, being Minato's sensei or Minato's teacher. Now, if you didn't know some of their lives, I'm going to give you some of their lives. Or I'm going to give you more background between Hanzo and Deku's background. Now, Hanzo and Deku were no normal ninjas. They were Anbu. They were more Hokage Anbu. And they were pretty powerful Anbu. But they stopped being Anbu after the Third Great Ninja War, before it began. And yeah. So they know Minato's sensei, Jiraiya, as this reminded them a lot about Jiraiya, the pervert sanin. As I would state that Bakugou would just chuckle to himself, remembering the old times. As Deku would also chuckle as well, as I would state that this grape dude gets a poke in his eye by earphone jacks. Sorry, let me say that again. Gets a poke in his eye by earphone jacks. As we see an angry Jiro on the other side, basically listening into what the boys are saying, and at the same time poking this pervert's eye out. Or technically just poking his eye. Not his eye is still there, it's just not out. As they would all dress and go to obviously the test. Bakugou and Deku being the first ones there. They look around. Yes, as Ozawa sees Bakugou and Deku being the first ones there, not asking any questions, and just standing there, waiting to be tested. As I would say everyone would have finally arrived, as Mr. Ozawa checks his, basically, I guess, his thing that he has with him, throwing a ball to Deku, or Izuku Midoriya, stating, Izuku, you got first in the entrance exam. I want you to throw this ball as hard as you can. You can use your quirk if you want. As he doesn't ask how far did Deku throw his ball in when he was in like high school or middle school. He doesn't ask that. He just lets it be because he doesn't really care how far he threw in middle school. He cares how far he threw, how far is he gonna throw with his quirk, and how much control does he have. As Izuku realizes this test is not suited for him, because really he doesn't have anything that can create quite an impact to throw this ball quite far, except for one of his other abilities, but he doesn't want to use that yet. I would state that he would do something different. He would place the ball in the middle, basically in his palm of his hand, remembering something quite weird from his sensei that his sensei would always use, a blue orb known as the Rasengan. His sensei told him about the Rasengan and offered to teach him. Yes, he could use Rasengan, but he's not going to use it for this like specific thing. He only wants to use the format and how it works. As he places his top hand on top, as he puts this basically both hands to the side with the ball, holding it like the Rasengan, with one hand on top. As this green energy starts to swirl around it, as instead of making a Rasengan, it makes a massive demon shuriken. As this thing is quite big, as he grabs it by the sharp, basically the tip of the shuriken and throws it, basically spins twice and throws it. The shuriken goes flying, basically like somebody has been practicing on how to throw a massive shuriken. The thing goes quite far, but not far, but quite far, but not worthy enough to earn first place. Like 5th place, yes, but not first. Bakugou goes up next, and he wrecks the scoreboard by getting first with his explosions. As Deku's like, show off. You have a quirk, I don't. As Bakugou is like, so what you gonna do now, nerd? Seems like I got first place now. As Deku would state, you have a quirk, I don't. Who's the one with the advantage, yeah? And who's the one with the disadvantage? As Bakugou is like, so what? A wing is a wing. You do realize that, right? As Deku's like, yep, I realize. Don't worry. I will get first place in the next one. The next one, speed. This is more Deku's style. Deku focuses on speed, not much strength, but speed, assassinations, and other stuff like that. Some of his attacks are also very clean. So yeah. As I would say that Bakugou, Ida, and Deku are the first ones to go. As Bakugou knows, this is Deku's basically main thing about him. He is very fast. Very fast. As Deku basically closes his eyes and gets in a running stance. As chakra gets channeled through his feet and also his eyes, he channels some of that energy through his body. Like one for all. As he opens his eyes with a green aura, as Bakugou is also doing the same, but he's not going to be as fast as Deku. As when Ozawa said go, Deku disappeared and immediately appeared in front. Basically, they had to click, basically it was an immediate thing. 005.7 seconds it took for Izuku Midoriya to get from one point to another, like he just teleported instantly. As Izuku got to the end, as Bakugou got at least 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds. Ida got also, because of Bakugou's explosions, Ida got 2.3. So yeah. As yes, the next long jump, Izuku, I think Bakugou aced the long jump, Izuku got second. High jump, Bakugou aced it, Izuku got second. Grip strength strength test, Izuku got the A on this one, and Bakugou got second because Izuku broke the machine, and directly after Bakugou broke the machine. So yeah, they just check the like numbers that was last recorded, and Izuku got strongest. Next would be I don't know what else would be, but yeah. Now the one who actually basically got first was Bakugou, as Izuku knew he would get first because some of the things that he had to do, um, yeah, it wasn't really suited for him, especially the ball throw. Now, now we get to the juicy part, the part that you've been waiting for: heroes versus villains. Bakugo and Deku, obviously. Now, obviously, everything's going to be as in canon. Uraraka is going to be on Deku's team. Ida is going to be on Bakugo, and Bakugo is going to be Bakugo is going to be villains. Deku is going to be heroes. Obviously, All Might states this, and All Might is also looking for a successor for his quirk, and he kind of has slight promise in Izuku Midoriya's skills. He's quite interested in Izuku Midoriya's skills, as he feels like giving Izuku Midoriya one for all. He feels like it, but he's not sure. As this, after this will just cement if All Might should give it to Bakugo, or if All Might should give it to Deku. Basically wondering who's the more intelligent one out of the two, and who's the one that will come up with more strategy, and who's actually worthy for it. Because All Might is not sure about Bakugo, because number one, Bakugo like has quite a lot of abilities, and this concerns All Might because All for One could be working for All for One, whether Deku only has what it looks like it only has one quirk. And this is basically, he feels like giving this to him. He's not sure about Bakugo, but Bakugo is a choice. He's just looking into Bakugo, seeing if he works for All for One, because of his many random abilities. So yeah. Now, continuing on, heroes versus villains, obviously Bakugo and Deku. Everything still goes as in canon, except for like... Actually, no, before the heroes versus villains, I'm forgetting something. As before we get to the heroes versus villains, I all time forget this scene, this like small part of the episodes. As Mr. Zhao walks in tired, as Mr. Zhao is like, I have some important matters to discuss. Never mind. Okay, let's just do the hero versus villain, I'll do that after. Yeah, let's just do the heroes versus villains first. Heroes versus villains first. Okay, so obviously Deku's working with Uraraka, Bakugo's working with Ida. As I would state that Midoriya would Izuku Midoriya or Deku or even Jin, he would conclude that his brother would be coming for him first, because his brother knows, and he knows he's not stupid, that he's the bigger threat. Izuku is the bigger threat out of the two of them. Uraraka is not that much of a bigger threat, because what Bakugo can tell, her powers is only to change gravity. So as long as there's nothing in the vicinity that she can change the gravity on, or even not get close to him, and not use her quirk on him, he's fine. And Bakugo is a long-range attacker. So Uraraka versus Bakugo, not a good match. Deku versus Bakugo on the other hand. Deku's the biggest threat because he's fast, he's agile, he's sneaky, and he's dangerous. He also knows ninjutsu, which makes him another big threat for Bakugo. Bakugo needs to eliminate Deku first before he can continue with eliminating anyone else. Bakugo will leave Ida to the bomb, and he would go hunting. This is not for a grudge or anything. This is Bakugo wants to eliminate the threat first. And if somehow he gets taken out, he wants to at least make sure that Deku, the one that is mostly a threat, is to dealt with first. Even if he gets taken out, because he knows Ida is going to be able to defeat Uraraka because he has the speed advantage. And he's quite smart. So yeah, Bakugo is quite, I guess, how can I say it? He's quite, how can I put it? I'm looking for the word. He has faith in Ida. He has a lot of faith that Ida will succeed. As Izuku says the same thing to Uraraka, that Bakugo is gonna go for him and not for her, because you are not an immediate threat. Yes, you can change gravity, but only to everything that you touch. So Bakugo's mindset is attack from far with you and keep basically out of range of your quirk. And even try not to make as much damage so it doesn't give you leverage to use your quirk. Both Bakugo and Deku are quite smart. Now the hero costumes, the picture that you see here is the hero costumes. That's what they're wearing. As it begins, as I would say Bakugo and Uraraka would rush in, but Izuku Midoriya would go for, instead of going through the front door, he would run up the windows like Bakugo predicted. And also Deku predicts Bakugo would predict this, so yeah. He's just going with he knows Bakugo's plan sort of. And Bakugo knows he knows the plan sort of. So yeah, it's like they're in each other's heads. As Uraraka just floats up, when Izuku finds an open window, he grabs Uraraka, or he basically helps Uraraka in, as now they continue their ascend up. As they continue going up, as Bakugo, basically you hear footsteps and explosions. As Deku grabs Uraraka, I guess not by the collar, he grabs her by the not by the waist, by the hand, and tosses her to one side or the other side of the hallway. As Bakugo comes, as Bakugo doesn't come through the wall. Instead, blue arrows come through the wall as they stuck behind basically Izuku Midoriya and blow up. Bam bam. As all they see is arrows coming through the wall, as Bakugo is on the opposite side of the wall shooting arrows in. As he's like, I got you now, Deku. As Deku's like, damn it, Bakugo. As he makes some phantom shurikens and throws it down one way of the hallway. As these phantom shurikens spin through the air, curve, and go all the way into Bakugo's area. As they start bouncing off the walls heading to Bakugo. As Bakugo is like, damn it. As Bakugo has to block with his arrows and his bow. I'm also stating this, the weapons that they have, they can also change the weapons. So yeah, this is what Bakugo is going to do. Bakugo changes his weapon into a sort of shield, as he blocks some of the attacks and changes his, like, basically arrow into a knife and blocks some of the others. As Izuku is using shuriken and kunai, but he used shuriken for this one, as I would state that Izuku would come around the same corner that the shurikens came from, as he would throw a few kunai, stating, now it's just me and you, Bakugo, as Bakugo is like, wouldn't have it any other way, as he makes the bow and fires a few arrows. Deku basically it blows up when it comes in contact with the kunais, basically knocking them away. Izuku comes out of the shadows very quickly, or comes out of the smoke very, very quickly, and tries to eliminate Bakugo immediately by going for his neck. As Bakugo, he would basically see this and dodge. As this is a constant back and forth fight, as the fight they are having is a fist to fist now. So they did use their weapons, but now they are having a fist to fist. They are basically swinging punches, blocking, countering, and at most what that. Yeah, as I would say that this like fist to fist is on camera, as I would say the entire class would be very, very impressed, including All Might. These two are very heavily trained, like a lot much trained. These two know what they're doing, and they are doing it with basically the intent to eliminate, to the intent to break bones. That's what All Might can see. They are fighting like they are trying to kill each other. As that's also what worries All Might, because they're not holding back. As Izuku will get a hit to a palm strike to his chest, sending him back. As Izuku would say, I didn't know you trained in some of the Hyuga's techniques. As Bakugo would say, when you hang out with some of those peaks and even Uchihas, you tend to pick up a few things. As as Deku would say, I agree. As he throws a basically a kunai, an energy kunai with a green, like a very visible green wire attached to it. As it would miss basically Bakugo as he would pull back, the string wrapping around Bakugo's hand, pulling it down. As Izuku rushed quickly and knees Bakugo into the face, sending him back. The fight is not escalating that much, they are just swapping between blows. As when Bakugo lands, he fires two arrows as they explode next to Izuku, sending him through the wall. As Izuku is inside a small area building, as Bakugo breaks through, basically shoots arrows through the door. Izuku has to dodge immediately, and Izuku takes the high ground as he basically makes I guess a hole, or he basically, I don't know what he would do. Let me think. I would say he would shoot a fireball. He shoots a fireball out, which is green obviously, shoots a fireball out where the arrows came from, breaking through the wall and also the window. As, yeah, Bakugo had to dodge. As Bakugo is like, oh, how about we get a bit serious now, Deku? As Deku's like, if you want, as he activates this green energy that he has, as he starts jumping wall to wall while heading towards Bakugo. As Bakugo activates the blue energy, as he pulls out a few arrows and starts firing. He fires one arrow which splits off into a lot of small, like, I guess small shards as they bounce to wall trying to follow Izuku. As Izuku is countering with his blade which is deflecting and also cutting through some of them, while also throwing shurikens that is also bouncing from wall to wall. Yes, these guys are pretty dangerous close range, as they are going close range, blow for blow, strike for strike, as they are not letting down. Until we hear the following. That's it! Heroes win! As Baku's like, what? How did Ida? As Ida is basically, I would say, Ida, um, yeah. What happened with Ida? Ida was doing quite well until, like, when he was attacking Uraraka, he didn't notice that he was creating objects for Uraraka to make float, until it was too late. Either to save the bomb and also get out of the way from him basically getting covered in rubble, he had to use his reciprocal burst. And Uraraka, basically in the short distraction that Ida had, floated over basically to the bomb very quickly and won the match for Deku's team. As Baku's like, you damn, that damn Four Eyes. I had faith in him. As I would say that Deku states the following. Remember, brother, don't underestimate a person even if they have a weak ability. You never know what they could achieve with such weak ability. As Baku is like, I'll remember that. But damn. as the fight stops. As I would state, instead of Bakugou getting angry on it, he would smirk stating, but next time I'm gonna kick your ass. As Izuku states, bring it on. As I would state that not they wouldn't hug. Bakugo would put his arm over Izuku as like a, I guess, a friend type of way, and Izuku would do the same. As they would walk out like this, basically laughing and making fun of each other. As yes, in the observation room, but in the observation room, I would state that All Might has chose his successor, and it won't be Bakugo, because number one, it would be Deku, his courage and faith he had in his partner, and also trying to stall another villain while his partner gets the job done. And also his basically courageous actions that he did in the entrance exam, and also his personality in general. He is technically adoring Deku. He adores Deku at the moment. And I don't know if Deku and All Might met in the Sludgeville incident, but I would say they didn't. They didn't meet. Or I'm not sure what happened in the last episode. But yes, but this is would how Deku would get one for all in this what if. As I would state that during lunch, All Might would call or yeah, during lunch, All Might would call but before All Might does that build up, we have to go over a few incidents. After the incidents with this thing, Momo still says he's same. Momo still says her staff who was the MVP. The MVP was technically it was Bakugo and Deku because number one, they were stalling for each other so their partners can get the job done. Bakugo and Deku knew each other's plan and that's how they were able to counter each other so well. If Bakugo would have forgotten dealing with Deku and just dealt with the brunette girl, then maybe Bakugo's team would have had a chance. As the reason, as also another reason why Deku is also an MVP, he had faith in his partner to deal with the threat, and he also had faith that she would be able to do it. Another reason why. So yeah, Bakugo and Deku are the MVPs of this training. Continuing on, in classroom, Azawa walks in stating, okay students, we have an important thing to speak about today. As everyone started getting intense, as Bakugo and Deku basically snapped out of their daydream and focused on Azawa. As Azawa states, you need to choose a class rep. I don't know how you're going to choose a class rep, I don't care. But just choose one at the end of the day, at the end of this period, please. As Azawa goes sleep. As I would state the same thing is mentioned for a vote and Deku is chosen. As I would state that Bakugo asked, who the hell voted for this nerd? As as Deku would state, yeah, who voted for me? As the people that voted for her was Ida, Rivaka, and who else? Even Bakugo. Because they couldn't vote for themselves, Bakugo just chose Deku, and Deku couldn't vote for himself, so yeah, he chose Bakugo. As yeah, as the same thing happens in canon with the interval happening, but instead of Deku like basically threatening over who should be class rep, Deku gets called, I guess, to All Might's office for lunch, I guess. As All Might calls Deku for lunch, this confuses some of his classmates, and this also gains the attention of Bakugo. What does that damn number one hero want with that nerd? I wonder. As Bakugo goes silent and starts brainstorming what the number one hero would want with Midoriya. As yes, this is also the time when everybody went crazy and the alarms went off. But yeah, before the alarms go off, Bakugo and All Might and Deku in their office, as All Might explains what he wants to ask Deku. I want to give you my quirk. As this confuses Deku a lot, but not to the point where he starts muttering. As Deku understands what All Might is asking, as as he starts thinking, yeah, in my world there used to be a lot of crazy things, so this doesn't really take the cake. As Izuku asks, are you sure, All Might, you want to give it to me? Your quirk? I mean, it's probably very powerful. As All Might states, yes, it's very powerful. And what I've seen today, I say, you deserve this power. I want to make you my successor. Why? Because of your heart, the way you inspire other people, and just your personality in general. You smile you smile in the face of danger. Because not because you are not because you want to look brave and want to look good for the cameras. More, you smile because you are trying to show everybody that even if that you are scared, that you will still fight for good. That's what I saw. I saw a righteous hero that could do anything, and even become the number one, no matter what it took. Even if he fought an opponent that clearly outclassed him. You also have the power to inspire others with your words and the way you even act around other people. I saw that when you inspired Uraraka as that young brunette girl with the brown hair. You inspired her. She basically she's just seen how Izuku fights so hard and also has a lot of faith in her that she will get her job and do it well, even if they fail. Inspired her to push Uraraka to the absolute limit. That's the thing that Bakugo doesn't have. Izuku can inspire other people, and Bakugo can't. There's a difference there. But Bakugo has his own basically traits to him that is also quite good. But yeah, continuing. As All Might continues saying and praising Izuku on how courageous he also is. That even if basically hundreds of people, basically even if he knows he's about to die, he would fight till the bitter end just to save even one person. As is as Deku would say, that's true. As he would continue thinking, as he would think on stating that how this world has quirks and he does not. He only has this power that he's been given, and it would be quite interesting if the number one hero gave him his power. At least he knows, and he definitely knows, that there is a greater evil than these just small villains. He can feel it. Even Bakugo can feel it. There's a greater evil than just the small villains, and he needs to get stronger. And if the number one hero is willing to give him his quirk, then why shouldn't he accept it? As he would accept, okay, All Might, I accept your quirk, and I will be your successor. As All Might smiles and states, I hope you will. As I would say that All Might would give his quirk immediately, because Izuku is quite fit for his age. As All Might pulls out a strand of hair and states, okay, to get my quirk you need to eat this. As Izuku stares blankly at the air, stating, "What? You need to digest my DNA, and I need to give you my quirk willingly for the quirk to get passed over." As Izuku's like, "Fine, I'll eat it." As he swallows it, tries to prevent a gag. As Izuku's like, "There, the quirk will digest soon. The quirk will take some time to digest, so just relax." As I would state that the bells go off for a villain attack. There's a villain somewhere in the UA building. As everyone is going crazy. As All Might steps out of his office stating, "What's going on? Where is the villain?" As I would state, one of the teachers would run by stating, "There's no villains outside, it's only the reporters. We're trying to calm down the students." As All Might's like, "Okay, I'm on my way." As All Might would try to get to the front of the area, trying to calm down the children. Or calm down the people that are just, or the school children that is just running insanely. As I would state that the person that would calm down basically everyone would be Ida. And this would basically get Ida class rep the same time, because Izuku would offer class rep to Ida because he saw what Ida did and he thinks Ida would be better for basically the job, or the basically yeah for the for the job, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to find another word for it, but yeah. As Ida would accept and be class rep. Now, before I go into the UA exam, I'm gonna stop it here. I'm just gonna stop it here before I go into the UA exams, because, or the UA fit, no, not the UA exams. What am I saying? I'm gonna stop it here before I go into the USJ. There we go. The USJ incident with the villains. And yeah, this is part 2 of What If Deku and Bakugou was the reincarnations of Hanzo and Gaijin. The next episode will basically do the obviously the incident with the USJ and the festival. We'll cover that. We'll be covering that on the next episode. And if you're wondering why I'm saying this stuff now, it's just a reminder for me. Because I'm gonna come back to this video wondering where I stopped, and I'm just gonna hear my past self stating, "We stopped exactly when we were about to do the USJ festival." That's it. Now, until the next time, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also comment down below how you like this video and what other videos I should do, and give me small ideas. Just small ideas if you want. And also tell me how good and how much I've improved on my storytelling. Remember, this basically all my videos I do are off the top of my head. So yeah, I don't plan the stuff out. This stuff is planned on the spot while I'm doing the video. So yeah, continuing on the next, I'll see you guys on the next part. Also, I'm gonna have to tell you these guys stuff now. I suggest you watch, if you haven't caught up with us now, I suggest you watch What If I Was in the Ruby Universe, part 1 all the way till the end, because I'm going to release the end episodes quite soon. And I also suggest you watch the beginning of What If Deku Was in a Fantasy Universe all the way to basically catch up, because a lot of good things, or a lot of interesting things is going to happen, especially with those 2 what ifs. I have a lot of plans for those 2 what ifs, and yeah, you'll be shocked with how I'm gonna end the anime What If I Was in the Ruby Universe. You'll be shocked at how I'm gonna end it. And you'll be shocked what is gonna be season 2 of What If I Was in the Ruby Universe. So yeah, see you guys later. Until next time, guys. Bye. Later.